Hi and welcome to another GC Mysteries video. This time we are going to be discussing the tragic and shocking death of 2-year-old James Bulger. Now the little boy you see on your screens now is called James Bulger. Now he was born on the 16th of March 1990 and on the 12th of February went missing from the New Strand shopping centre in Bootle where his mother had taken him. Now Denise, James's mother, had took her eyes off James for a matter of seconds, but that was long enough for two 10-year-old boys to lead James Bulger out of the shopping centre and to his death. Now, when Denise realised that James had disappeared, the New Strand shopping centre and the police got involved in a search around the shopping centre, thinking, well, she'd only taken her eyes off him for seconds, so he must be in the shopping centre somewhere. Unfortunately, this turned out to be false, and when the police, during the 2 days that he was missing, went through the CCTV footage of the New Strand shopping centre in Bootle, they could see on the CCTV cameras that two 10-year-olds had led him off. Now, the 10-year-olds had been stopped multiple times by members of the public because James was in distress, but they always got around it. They knew right from wrong, and they always said that James was their little brother and they was taking him home. Unfortunately, James was not their little brother. Unfortunately, they were not taking him home, and in fact took him to a railway line in Walton in Liverpool, where 2 days later James's mutilated body was found. Now the two 10-year-olds became the youngest people in the United Kingdom, if not the world, to be charged and convicted of abduction and murder. Now, James, by all accounts, was a bubbly little 2-year-old who loved life. He loved playing. Denise rarely took her eyes off him and always kept him safe. Now, the reason that she took her eyes off him for just a matter of seconds on that fateful day was because she was paying a shopkeeper of some sort in the New Strand shopping centre. So she took her eyes off her little boy for seconds to pay the shopkeeper, and then planned to grab hold of James's hand again, do whatever else around the shopping centre, go home, and that would be a normal day. Unfortunately, it wasn't a normal day, and that day James was actually killed. But he wasn't just abducted and murdered. He was tortured. He had bricks thrown at him. Anything that these 10-year-olds could find to hurt or kill James with, they used. So whatever in God's name makes two 10-year-olds think that abducting, torturing and murdering a 2-year-old was a good idea, we'll never know. Now, the two 10-year-olds will come up on your screen very soon. Now, James's murder was 1 in a million and not like that murder of anyone else before. Because normally you would find that the murder would be committed by an adult. Only this time, unfortunately, we were all wrong. And James was abducted, tortured and killed by two 10-year-olds. Now, John Venables, who is on your screen now, is one of the two 10-year-olds that got charged, convicted and sentenced for James's death. Now, soon the outstanding 10-year-old will be shown to you on your screens. But it is fair to say that John Venables has had much trouble. Now, the parents, Denise and Ralph Bulger, the parents of James, were not impressed with the 8-year sentence that the two 10-year-olds got. And so they appealed that decision and it was up to 10 years. Unfortunately for them, they still wasn't happy with a 10-year sentence. I don't think any of us would be. 10 years for killing a little boy that couldn't hurt a fly and had much to look forward to in his life is not a feasible sentence to be given, but they was. So Denise and Ralph took a petition with hundreds of thousands of signatures on it to the Home Secretary of the day, who then upped, after looking very closely at John Venables and, as you'll see on your screen now, Robert Thompson's crimes, looked very carefully at them crimes, and thought that a 15-year sentence was more feasible. Now, Denise and Ralph were very happy with this sentence because it meant that John and Robert would spend some time in an adult prison. That is until a judge overrid the decision of the Home Secretary. Basically said that the Home Secretary shouldn't have got involved due to the parents and the petition, and therefore gave John and Robert a sentence of 7 years and 8 months. Now, because of that, they were released in June of 2001 on a lifelong license when they were both aged just 18, which meant if they got in trouble again, they would be sent back to prison. Now, John Venables is in prison as we speak due to indecent pornography images of children. Robert Thompson, though it is fair to say has never been heard of, has never been in trouble before and has only to this day committed that crime. Never heard of him since. Now Denise, who you can see now, set up a charity in James Bulger's name called For James, and this was because Denise didn't just want her son to be remembered as a little boy that was killed by two 10-year-olds. She wanted his life and his name to have some meaning, and so she made it have some meaning. Now it is the James Bulger Memorial Trust that now helps children who are stuck have a nice holiday or help other children with problems. And it's fair to say that Denise has not been quiet about the murder of her son, and nor would we. So you can learn more about James Bulger by going to forjames.org, where you will hear Denise's story and see what the James Bulger Memorial Trust is all about. We'd like to thank you for watching this GC Mysteries video. If you have any constructive feedback that we can use, please add it in the comments below. To learn more about James Bulger, go to the website address forjames.org, and we shall see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.